Hello, visionaries. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maresa Talbert. I'm the founder and CEO of Talbert Law Office, your favorite go-to legal resource for all things business, nonprofit, and intellectual property law.
Feel my faith arising. I'm crawling out the trenches, holding me.
So I've been gone for a while. I've been so busy and traveling just a ton, and I thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. If you don't know, I did a two-part video on holding companies, and those videos received a lot of traction. They are my highest viewed videos to date. I also received a fair amount of questions from those videos, so today I wanted to discuss the difference between a family trust and a holding company. Now, here is my disclaimer. I am not a trust and estates or an estate planning attorney. I'm just going to give you my little law school crash course on trust and estates. Let's jump right into it. There are many different kinds of trust, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to speak in terms of a family trust because that was the context for the questions that I received. So first, let's talk about what is a trust. In its simplest form, a trust is a legal instrument that is used to hold assets for the benefit of another, like your family members. This is where we get the term trust fund baby, which is not as popularly used today as it was in the 90s and previous to that decade. However, the common benefit to a trust is that a trust can help you protect your assets, it can help you avoid probate, and it can help you delay or reduce your taxes. All right, so how does a trust work? In a trust, there are three categories of people. Number one is your grantor, which is you, or the person who creates the trust. Number two is the trustee. This is the person that you name to manage and carry out the instructions of the trust. And number three are your beneficiaries. These are the people who will financially benefit from the assets that you place in your trust, generally your children or other family members. So now that we've talked about who's generally involved in a trust, let's talk about how you set it up. First, you got to determine what type of trust you will create. Like I said, there are a number of trusts. In this context, we are specifically referring to family trusts. You also have to decide what assets you're going to place into your trust, whether it's going to be your house, your insurance policies, your bank account, a rental property, whatever. That decision is up to you. Then you have to name your beneficiaries. Who is going to benefit from the assets that are put into your trust? Is it going to be your children? Is it going to be your parents? Is it going to be your spouse? Whatever you decide. Then you select your trustee. Who do you trust to manage your trust and carry out your instructions if you're unable to? Next, you have to draft the trust documents. And no, I don't mean you draft the documents. I mean you go seek and consult a trust and estates or an estate planning attorney to draft those documents for you. This is not a DIY project, okay? Go seek out professional help. Last but not least, you move your assets into the trust. Again, it could be your house, it can be your insurance policies, it can be your bank account, it can be whatever assets that actually exist, you can move into a trust. It can be your business, it can be your holding company. Whatever you have that actually exists tangibly, you can move into a trust. So what is the actual benefit of a trust? So I've alluded to some of the benefits earlier, but let's break it down. Number one, a trust can help you protect your assets. So what do I mean? When you put assets into a trust, you've transferred ownership. As a result, a trust can help protect your assets from creditors and from lawsuits. I've used this example before when discussing business entities, and the same applies to a trust. Let's say we set up a trust and we're going to name her Tia the Trust. You set up a trust and you have your business and your business bank accounts folded into the trust. And let's just say you took out a personal loan and now the creditor wants to come after you to recoup the money from that loan. Generally speaking, that creditor can only go after your personal assets. Why? Because Tia the trust owns everything else. And Tia is a completely different person. Does that make sense? The second major benefit of a trust is that it can help you delay or reduce your taxes. Now, a trust does not preclude you from paying taxes altogether. Let's get that straight. You still must pay taxes even if you have a trust. In addition to circumstantial and special taxes that a trust may help you avoid, delay, or reduce, specifically when a person passes away, there are a number of legal events that occur. Number one is that the net worth of all of the assets owned by the person who is now transitioned are subject to an estate tax. And that's both federal and state, depending on the state. A trust can help you avoid or reduce estate tax. The third primary benefit to having a trust is the ability to avoid probate. So what is probate? Probate is another legal event that occurs generally when a person passes away. Probate is a court hearing that recognizes that a person's will exists, that it is legally valid, and that hearing is used to appoint the executor to the will to carry out the wishes of the will. However, probate is public, and that allows for the randoms to come from near and far and make claims on your loved one's assets and estate. So now you have Jason's long lost daughter that he's never met coming to claim Jason's Corvette. Or you have grandma's sister-in-law coming to claim that grandma promised her grandma's pearl earrings when grandma was alive. Or you have the American Express representative claiming that Paul owes $10,000 on his credit card bill. We don't want that. Probate can take years to settle, but a trust can help you avoid both probate, the court hearing, and the publicity of a person's assets being put out there for people to make claims upon. Now, I do want to say these are the general rules, but there are always exceptions to the rule. So this is why you do not want to do a trust DIY. If you want a trust, seek out a professional to help you establish that trust. Okay, I think that's all I want to discuss about the trust in particular, and now I want to compare that to the holding company. So in my two-part video, I talk about the holding company, how it works, and how the holding company can generate income. But I want to compare that to the family trust structure. If you are trying to consider whether a family trust or a holding company is right for you, here are some considerations. Both structures can be fairly expensive to create, especially if you plan to hire an attorney. So don't base it on the money. Both the family trust and the holding company exist to hold and manage assets. Let me say that one more time. Both the family trust and the holding company exist to hold and manage assets. So they function similarly in that way. You also need to understand that you are not limited to one structure or another. Keep in mind that a holding company is one of those assets that can be placed into a trust. Again, you don't need either or. You can have both. Both structures have tax advantages. Both structures can help you create generational wealth. Your decision needs to be based on your unique circumstances. In some cases, it may be better to opt for a holding company if you don't have any children or close family members to leave assets to, or if you feel like you can't trust your children or close family members. On the other hand, it may be better for you to opt for a family trust if you want to maintain assets only within your own family. And for some, you might need to create a holding company and then eventually place that into a family trust depending on the circumstances. I hope this gives you some context of the inner workings of a family trust a little bit better. If you want both a family trust and a holding company, know that there's no right order on which one to do first. I just really wanted to explain the general dynamics around a family trust for your consideration. If you made it this far, I hope you found this video to be informative and easy to understand. If so, please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up or subscribe. Also, let me know your biggest takeaways in the comments. Are you more inclined to set up a family trust, a holding company, or both? Put it down below. All right, well, that's all I have for this video. As always, this is Talbert Law Office, your favorite go-to legal resource for all things business, nonprofit, and intellectual property law. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.